right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Chakra Alignment Meditation Series. I'm Dr. Christie Smirl, and I'm from Healthier Vibrations. And today what we're going to be covering is all of the foundational information that we're going to want to have for the entire series coming up. So this is going to be an 8-week series or an 8-session series. And what we're going to be doing is creating a new mindset, a new way of thinking about our physical body, our mental, our emotional, and our subtle bodies. We're going to be going through in each session and learning how to create reprogramming and learning how to set forth in motion a transformation on the physical level, mind level, emotion level, and through our subtle bodies. So I have a lot of information I want to share and a lot of background that I want to go over for our first meeting. At the end, of course, we're going to go into meditation. But each week what I'm going to do is come to you first and give you detailed information about a particular system, a particular chakra, or particular theories so that each week we can integrate new information and so we can really understand on a deep physiological and subtle body dynamic what we're doing and why we're doing it. All right, so the first thing that I want to go over today is the fact that when we are doing guided meditation, we want to set up a system so that we're not just meditating, but that we're recognizing, switching, and reprogramming our thought processes. So many of you already know me. But for those of you who don't know me, I want to take a moment to introduce myself as well. So as I said earlier, I'm Dr. Christie Smirl. And I remember the first time somebody asked me when I was 4, what do you want to do when you're older? And I really thought that was a self-explanatory question. I thought that we were born knowing what we wanted to do or what our passion is. And my passion has always been healing people, creating a base and a platform where people can really look within themselves and create change. Well, I started out when I was in my teenage years working with hospice and taking care of people in the dying spectrum. And I knew at that point that this was my calling. Well, long time went by. In 1997, I graduated from CSUSB, Cal State University, San Bernardino, with my RN as a registered nurse. And I got my bachelor's degree and I was working in the hospital. And I eventually went back for my nurse practitioner as well as Master's of Science from Loma Linda. So I graduated Loma Linda in 2000. And I remember when I was working in the ER for a couple years after graduation, like I've said before, I felt like I reached the peak of my medical practice, but I myself didn't feel completely healthy, not only on a physical level, but also on a mental, emotional, and energetic level. I really didn't even understand the energetic level back in 2000 when I graduated from medical school, because there's a lot of things in medical school we don't learn about the physical human body. So I ended up going back and studying yoga. I graduated from Green Tara Yoga, which used to be one of my favorite studios in Upland, California. And I got my 300-hour teacher training, and then I got my 500-hour registered teacher training. And along the way, I also enrolled at the American University of Complementary Medicine in Beverly Hills. And a few years later, I graduated with my clinical doctorate in Ayurvedic medicine. Now, I bring all of this up also so that we can see the dynamic between Western medicine, Eastern medicine, and the gap in between. So let's say you're feeling depressed or anxious and you go to your family doctor, one of the first things that they're going to possibly, hopefully recommend is counseling and or medication. And I found over the years that the medication doesn't solve the problem. It's a temporary fix, it's a band-aid, it's a biochemical correction of a biochemical imbalance. But when you learn in yoga and Ayurveda about the mind, about the connection of spirit, and about, in particular, the chakras, you understand that there's a whole nother level of things going on within the multi-dimensional being that you are. So I remember studying in multiple levels and layers, whether it was in yoga or whether it was in Ayurveda studies, the chakra system, the subtle body system. And I remember at one point I thought, how is it that they did not teach me this in medical school? And I thought, well, maybe it's kind of a new age thing, right? So of course I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more I learned, the more I realized we need to have a deep knowledge of how all of this integrates in to bridge the gap between Western medicine and Eastern arts and sciences. So eventually I started practicing all of these subtle body practices, and sure enough, my health began to increase. My emotional well-being increased. My mental capacity also increased. So over these next 8 weeks, I'm going to be sharing as many of those pearls as possible with you so that you can also apply them in your life and make long-lasting changes, not only in your personal health, but in your professional life and your social life, but in particular in your spiritual connection too. So I was looking over a lot of paperwork when I was preparing for this, and I was like, there's so much I want to share. What can I leave out? What can't I leave out? So I came across a lot of paperwork that I was researching years ago on Einstein's theories. And I've brought together a lot of different information. So I want to start off by explaining how the biology and physics of the human body, the subtle body, and the spirit come together. All right. So first of all, we understand that we are a physical body. Oh, we have a little kitten playing with the cord. Anyways, so excuse me. We have this human body and we have trillions of cells within the human body, right? Trillions of cells. Now, every single cell within your body contains a nucleus. And within that nucleus, you have neutrons and electrons and protons, okay? So bear with me. Now, within that neutron-electron relationship, you have cellular excitation. And when you have this cellular excitation, you produce what is called a photon. And this photon is measurable. It emits light. So for every single cellular reaction or interaction, you produce a photon. So imagine the trillions of cells in your body at any given time. Every single second, every single cell has over 100,000 reactions and interactions, causing a measurable unit of light called a photon. Now, cells communicate through these photons, and cellular systems, organ systems, also have this coordinated communication. Now let's take a look at light for a moment. We understand that light communicates through and with cells, not only intracellularly inside the cell, but also extracellularly outside of the cell. And we understand that these units of energy, these units of light, can also be detected outside of the human body. So not just inside the cells, not just outside the cells, not just within the organ systems, but we also have technology that can measure it outside, extracorporeally. Now, bear with me still. This cellular light emission, the quality of these cellular light emissions determine the overall health of the cell, the organ, and organ systems. Okay, now when we're looking at an organism and we're looking at these wavelengths, these light wavelengths, because remember, light is not just visible. Light is a wave of energy. But when we're looking at these wavelengths, we're looking at how it creates a coherent, complementary, or chaotic, detrimental pattern. Now, if we understand that light is measurable, light is visible, and light is resulting from excitation, we also understand that chemical and light processes occur within our DNA. We can measure these responses or these reactions within the DNA with electromagnetic wave detection. So there's been medical tests that show the bioelectrical field of the human body, so we can check the bioelectrical waves of the brain by EEG. We can detect the waves or the electrical responses of the heart through EKG. We also can test the muscles through EMG and the nerves through NCS. We also have other equipment that has been produced and created by scientists. One was called the SQUID, and the SQUID stands for the Superconductive Quantum Interference Device. We also have GSR, or galvanic skin response, which measures the bioelectrical activity within a system. And then we also have things like Kirlian photography. Now, why am I going over all of this? For you to truly understand that you can change the way you think, the way you feel, the way you excite the cells within your system. When you truly believe and you understand this knowledge, it gives you a deeper ability to put it into action. I don't want this series to be a superficial meditative process where I just say, okay, close your eyes and set your intention and think about this and think about a color, etc. I want you to understand the science behind what you are changing and what you are cultivating within you. Okay, now let's go a little farther. When we look at mind or thought, we understand that thought is capable of changing the way your body reacts. So we understand in experiments like the Emoto water experiments. Dr. Emoto took water, put it in separate containers, and sent thought processes or intentions to the water. Some water had experimental words and phrases that said, I love you. Certain water had ones that said, I hate you. And he took these variable messages that was being transmitted to the water and then placed the water under high definition microscope analysis and found that there was a dramatic difference between how one set of molecules appeared in the water that said, I love you, and how the molecules appeared when the water was communicated, I hate you. Now think about that for a minute. Your body, depending on your age, is anywhere from 50 to 70% water. So the things that you think, your pre-programmed mental patterning, can dramatically affect the way your cells are organized, the way your cells signal, the way your cells communicate, also determines the way you communicate to yourself. Now we understand that we are a crystalline structure. And if you think of yourself as the glass of water in Dr. Emoto's experiment, meditation can then hold a dramatic key to changing your life. Not just your thinking, not just your emotions, but by changing the thinking and the emotions through a journey of what emotions are sitting within what center of the subtle body, you can completely change your life on a multidimensional level. All right, now, a little bit more background before we launch into any meditation tonight. Like I said, each session we're going to be looking at some key concepts to make this process even deeper. So in yoga and Ayurveda, we understand that thoughts and emotions are nothing more than vibrations. Yes, there's the cognitive process that we go through, but the thought is a vibration. So if we understand that the thought vibrates, that's going to cause excitation of the body in a very specific way. And if you go back to Dr. Emoto's water experiments, and you go back to how cellular excitation creates photons, measurable units of light, we start moving forward and understanding that the nervous system is also similar to, you could look at it like a fiber optic system of light energy, with all of these waves and signals radiating through the body, not just inside the body, but outside of the body. Now, we also understand certain scientists hypothesize that memories are stored biophotons. So if light is a wave and thought is a wave, some are beginning to believe that memories are stored potential of biophotons. And if we are able to change our cognitive thinking, we will be able to change the way that we vibrate as an entire body and unit, physical and extracorporeal. All right, now what we need to take a look at is this concept of prana, this concept of chi or ki. Now, prana is life force. If we do not have adequate prana within our human system, we are not as healthy. Like I said before, we measure these things within the human body to determine the health of the cells, the cellular systems, the organ systems, and the system as a whole. But we understand that prana comes from not only food, so this vital force energy, we consume it with the foods that we eat, and the types of foods we eat will determine the quality or quantity of prana that we're able to move, generate, and utilize. We also understand that prana comes from water. So it enters in through the body into the Annamaya kosha, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and it nourishes the body with prana. Our other source of prana is through breath, or what we refer to as pranayama, pranic practices. So the way that you breathe, the quality of your breath, has a lot to do with determining the way your overall system is functioning. Now, if you've taken previous classes with me through Healthier Vibrations, let's say you've taken the pranayama class with me, you understand already that the way we think affects the way we breathe. The way we think affects the way we vibrate. The way we breathe affects our prana. So let's take, for instance, different breath patterns. We know that when we're anxious, most people exhibit an anxious breathing pattern. When we're angry, most people exhibit an anger breath pattern. Now, all of these patterns within our breath are sending very clear signals to the limbic system within the brain, sending waves and vibrations of patterns that communicate to the rest of the body how to react, how to act, how to vibrate. They're communication systems. And I find that many people are not in control cognitively of these communication systems. So when we learn how to utilize them, when we learn how to master them, we learn how to master ourselves. Now, we also have another way that prana enters in through the body, other than just food, water, and breathing. So we have what are called nadis, N-A-D-I-S, nadis. And in the ancient descriptions, we understand that there are 72,000 nadis. And these nadis are subtle, fine channels. Channels that go in and all throughout the body, delivering and transporting prana. Now, when we have all of the prana within our body, we also understand through Ayurvedic and yogic sciences that there is a large central canal through the center of our body. And this central body channel, which brings prana, is called the Sushumna. Now, when we do some meditation later on, I'm going to be having you come into a conscious connection with these so that you can come into a form of yogic nidra where we're consciously identifying these systems within our body. So we have the central canal, the Sushumna. Well, we also have a right side and a left side channel. Our right side channel is called the the Pingala. So the Pingala on the right side is more heat-oriented, sun-oriented, masculine-oriented, or yang. And then our left side is yin, cooling, feminine, and a moon quality to it. Now, why am I bringing this up even? Because when we are working through our chakric systems, we want to understand where is the prana coming from to generate all of this energy within our pranic subtle body and our chakric system. So once the prana enters in through the food, the water, the air, but also through these 72,000 nadis, coalesce down through the central canal, the Sushumna. We have mobilization through the right and left sides of our system through the Pingala and the Ida. The Ida is the left-sided channel. And we have an integrative crisscrossing through the Sushumna channel, bringing energy to 7 major focal points of energy within our body, called chakras. Now, chakras are wheels. The actual word chakra means either wheel or vortex. There's other meanings, but those are the general meanings. And we understand that the prana begins to pool and coalesce and become organized in these 7 main centers of our body. Now, we have a lot more than 7 chakras, and it also depends on which system of chakras that you're studying, whether it is Tibetan, through yoga and Ayurveda, or even Buddha. Now, these chakras not only provide prana to the physical body, but they also have stored information or developmental information regarding the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act. Now, if you've taken other classes with me regarding the chakras, we've learned about a lot of subtle therapies and things like that, but I want to stick with the science just a little bit longer. When we have certain conditions, our subtle body, our physical body, either is open and expanded, free and relaxed, or condensed, tightened, and constricted. Now we understand, if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, different emotions affect different organ systems. This is very clear in traditional Chinese medicine. So for instance, the emotion of worry weakens and affects the stomach. The emotion of grief or sadness weakens and affects the lungs. Whereas anger can affect adversely the liver. Now, we also have all the other systems, but we're going to talk about some of those in a future class. So let's get down to these 7 primary chakras, because we're going to be working with these the entire 8 sessions together. So depending on which lineage you're studying, most people understand your 7 primary chakras as starting at the very base of your body and coming to the very top of your crown. Now we also understand that there's smaller chakras out in the arms, down in the legs, down in the earth, and even above the human body. But we're going to be identifying, working with our 7 primary ones. So if you start at the very base of your body, you have what is called your root chakra or your Muladhara chakra. If you move up a little bit at your lower abdomen, below your belly button, we have what is called the sacral chakra, or it's called in Sanskrit the Svadhisthana chakra. Little higher up, we have what's called our solar plexus or our Manipura chakra. At the heart center, in Sanskrit, we call this our Anahata chakra. The throat, we refer to as the Vishuddha chakra. At the third eye, we have the Agna chakra. And at the crown, we have what is called the Sahasrara chakra. Now, if you got a chance to read my article that was published in Ayurvedic Mantra, I think it was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I did a cross-analysis and comparison to see if there was a lot of correlation between chakra development and the correlation to Western psychology, Erikson's stage of development, as well as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm going to talk about that in our next session. But when we look at our primary emotional human development, most people in their lineages, we understand that each chakra has a developmental stage. So let's say the root chakra. We understand that that's around 0 to 5 years of age. The sacral chakra, that's more like 5 to puberty. The Manipura chakra, puberty to young adulthood. The heart chakra, young adulthood to mid-adulthood. And then the throat chakra, mid-adulthood and beyond. Now, most people do agree, depending on the basis of their information, that the third eye and the crown chakra have no age limitation. Now, are we saying that the heart chakra will only develop when you're over 40? No, not at all. But these are where we are focusing a lot of our developmental information. So as we go through these chakras, we're going to be looking also at the age stage, the developmental emotion stage within each chakra. So when we look at the root chakra, we're going to talk about these in a lot more detail each week. But when we look at the root chakra, we understand that this is fear versus insecurity, safety versus fear of instability. When we look at the sacral chakra, we store emotional patterns there related to shame versus creativity, sensuality and enjoyment versus loss of enjoyment. When we look at the solar plexus, we understand there's a dynamic interaction between guilt, shame, versus self-empowerment. And at the heart chakra, we have rejection versus grief and sadness, or the opposite spectrum, love, joy, unconditional love. And we come up to the throat. We ask ourselves, are we suppressing our words? Are we suppressing our communication? Can we tell the truth? Or are we able to really speak our truth, to speak our lives? When you come up to the third eye, we start looking at things like vision versus confusion, wisdom versus illusion. And when we come up higher to the crown chakra, we're looking at the dynamic between connection and inspiration, spirituality versus this lost spiritual disconnect. So, depending on how you study chakras, we could sit here and go over all the different colors associated with the chakras. We could go over musical notes and harmonizing notes and what instruments help which, and which mantras help which, and what stones and which aromatherapies help, what conditions arise and what affirmations are used. And I'm going to talk a lot about these different things with each chakra each week. But this week, what I really want to do is have us come into a deep connection with all of this biophysical, electrical, and subtle body connection. Because it's one thing to understand it here intellectually, but it's another thing to really come into connection. I find that even at the hospital or in yoga and Ayurveda, many people have become disconnected to the awareness of their physical body, let alone their legs, their arms, their digestive system, their sense organs. But there's also not only a disconnect from the subtle body, there's actually a complete lack of knowledge of the subtle body. Like I said, I finished medical school. I thought I knew everything about the human body. There was so much that I didn't know. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring this series together. So I want to start off this week moving into a meditation. It's a type of yoga nidra. So what I'm going to have you do is take a couple minutes and set up your space, get comfortable, make sure that you have a pen, a paper, because when I want each week to set intentions, I want the intentions to really be clear. I don't want the intention just to be, I want world peace, or I just want to be happier, or I want to be peaceful. I want you to really think about the intention and really take a moment to write it down. And when you come out of meditation, I also want you to have space and opportunity to write down your experiences. So, like I said, each week we're going to come together and we're going to talk about some very important details about the chakra system and the human functioning, the mind functioning, the emotion function, psychology, developmental psychology. And then the second half of class, we're going to go into a meditation for each one of these systems and really dive in deep. But remember, meditation is not always easy. If we are going into a meditation practice, make sure that it doesn't substitute psychological counseling. It doesn't substitute medical attention if you have medical needs. And if meditation causes any discomfort, please stop. So when we're moving into meditation each week, I want you to make sure that you're clear on the process of meditation. So usually I hear people say, I can't meditate. Every time I try, I just can't do it. My mind wanders away. And you're going to find that every single time you meditate, the mind will wander. It's the mind's job to think, to analyze, to interject, to offer its services to you. So each time we go into meditation, there's a few key points that I want you to work on, and I'm going to walk you through it when we get there. First thing I want to make sure of is that you're sitting up nice and tall. So when we look at that Sushumna channel, we want to create a direct line access from the top of the head down through the neck and along the entire axis of the body. So we don't want to be slouching. We don't want to be, kind of kicking it sideways. And I personally prefer not to lay down because then we're a little bit more prone to fall asleep and then you've lost the connection with the meditation. Now, when we go into meditation, if the mind begins to wander, just keep following the guided meditation. Don't become upset about the wander. Don't analyze the wandering thought. Just say to yourself, distraction. You've become distracted. It's not a big deal. Identify it, say distraction, and come back to what we're doing. And you may have to do that over and over and over. Also, when we're working through meditation, I want you to be very aware of your breath at all times. You don't have to control or manipulate your breath. I just want you to be aware of your breath so that you're not creating any anxious breathing patterns, angry breathing patterns, or the type of breathing patterns that signal your brain, even during meditation, that something could potentially be wrong. So be mindful of the breath at all times, because certain chakras that we get into, we're going to talk about different emotions, we're going to talk about specific patterns. And when we think about these patterns, even in meditation, sometimes the breath pattern that was associated with that follows. So be very mindful of that as well. So if you've got your piece of paper and your pen handy and you're in a nice, comfortable position, I want you, before you go into meditation, to think, why did you join this series? What is it that you are looking for? What is it that you are looking to change or transform within yourself? What is it that you need? What are you looking to eliminate? Are you looking just for a meditation practice? New knowledge? More importantly, where are you at right now in life? And what kind of change would you like to affect? Maybe you've just moved and there's chaos and you want to bring yourself into center. That's a good intention, but what do you want to center yourself in order to achieve? What direction do you want to move? A lot of times we come into different programs because we just don't like the particular pattern we have and we want to do something different. But really think for a moment. What direction do you want to begin moving? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How would you describe it? So take a moment and write those things down. You can go back after the meditation and put more details into it to really begin crafting the direction you're going, kind of like a meditation vision board. But I want it a written intention so that each week you can go back and revisit this intention that you've set for yourself for these next 8 sessions. All right. So let's begin by sitting up nice and tall. Begin elongating your spine. And feel the spine fully aligned with length, with space, to allow all of the electrical signals, all of the subtle body to have additional space and room. Make small adjustments if needed. And now come into an awareness of your actual physical body. I'd like you to begin by rotating your consciousness, by bringing a thought, an intention of relaxation across your forehead, softening the skin on your forehead. bringing that intention of awareness and softening across your eyes, your eyelids, the eye sockets. Allowing that conscious thought of relaxation to vibrate and move down across your cheeks, your nose, your lips, the muscles of your mouth, the muscles of your jaw. Maybe open and close your mouth a couple times. Let your tongue be soft and bring in awareness. And let that same gentle, relaxed awareness move across the back of your scalp, down the back of your neck, the front of your neck, and across the tops of both your shoulders. Let your body sink deeper into a state of relaxation, bringing a cognitive vibration of relaxation through the right shoulder, arm into the elbow, through the lower arm into the wrist and the right hand. And then again, allow that vibratory thought process to move down through your left arm to your elbow, from the elbow to the wrist and the left forearm, and all the way out into the left hand and fingers. Let that conscious vibrational intention of relaxation, softness, and awareness move across your chest, down past the navel, relaxing the abdomen, your side waist, your upper back between your shoulder blades, down through the mid-back, low back, and into the hips. Now send this conscious awareness and vibration of relaxation into the right thigh, right knee, right shin and calf, right ankle, foot and toes. Minding the breath still. Bring that relaxation vibration down into the left thigh, left knee, left shin, calf, ankle, foot, and toes. Now visualize an entire wave of relaxation covering the entire body. Moving all the way down the spine, creating an anchor, allowing that vibrational energy to move down through the spine, deep into the earth. Perhaps you'll see it as a large root moving into the earth. Perhaps it will look like a waterfall moving deep into the soil, or perhaps it will have more of an electrical appearance, like a fiber optic cord moving deep into the earth, being grounded and supported. Now bring your awareness to the skin of your body, all of the skin. Across your face, your arms, your chest, your back, the bottoms of your feet and your palms. And visualize 72,000 tiny points of entry across the entire body, every surface, everywhere you can imagine, being a point of entrance of prana, life force, chi. And visualize that prana becoming bright, lighting up the surface of your skin. And visualize that light energy, very soft, gentle, kind, and relaxed, moving into the body. Visualize light space from the front of your body to the back of your body, from your chest to your back, from the fronts of your thighs to the backs of your thighs, and filling all of that directional space. Also visualize that light energy moving side to side from the left shoulder to the right shoulder, from the left side of the trunk to the right side of the trunk. Or perhaps you visualize it from the right hip to the left hip. But see the direction of energy. And if you can't visualize it, don't worry. Just create mental space for this concept within you. And now expand this awareness of the energy to allow it to move up and down from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, all the way down the body to the tips of the toes. Now visualize the same pranic light energy in every organ system within the brain, providing prana, light energy. In the heart, beating every moment, circulating this light energy even in the blood, the circulatory system, moving through the entire body, every single cell. Visualize this light energy within the lungs, the stomach, the intestines, the liver. Even if you're not sure where these structures are, just allow that light energy to have creative space within your mind, identifying its movement, allowing its movement down into the kidneys, the bladder, the reproductive system. Visualize every single muscle in your body open to this pranic flow, unrestricted. Every bone within your body open to this pranic energy. Every cell, trillions of cells, each with 100,000 reactions per second, creating measurable units of light. Now come to the very center of your being, the Sushumna channel, moving from the crown of the head, the base of the spine, all the way down to your tailbone. This large energy channel. And with each breath you take, visualize that energy very gently moving up and down the Sushumna channel. And let's take a few breaths here, creating opening and expansion within that Sushumna channel. Don't worry about how you're breathing. Just allow opening. Allow space for that movement up and down the Sushumna channel. Up and down the entire axis of your trunk to the brain. And now visualize branches moving out. The first one moving through the right side, the Pingala, and the other moving through the left side, the Ida, crisscrossing all the way down the body, bringing with it a balance of yin and yang, moon and sun, hot and cold. Now bring your attention to the very base of your spine. This is where the energy conducts through the Muladhara chakra. Just identify with your mind, come into conscious connection with this region of your body, the very base of your spine, your perineum, your rectum, buttocks, hips, and visualize this energy radiating through the entire pelvis, hips, legs, and downward energy to the earth. And we'll take a series of breaths here. Remember, when the mind constricts, we often constrict the flow of prana. So let's just open the flow of prana through conscious thought. Inhaling, exhaling, visualize this wheel, this chakra, opening and expanding all the way forward, side to side, back and down in every direction. Not just in one tiny point in your body, but all the way through the tissues and outside of your body. Perhaps visualize this Muladhara chakra radiating light energy 3 to 6 feet in front, beside, behind, and below. A few more breaths. Really allow consciously for this region to open, expand, and relax. Not forceful. Gently. Sometimes you'll feel chills in your legs or movement of energy. Embrace that. Now bring your mental awareness a little higher to the Svadhisthana chakra. Below the belly button, above the pelvis. Remembering that this energy radiates with all the other chakras, but also forward, side to side, and behind you, like a large wheel moving. It also has some up and down movement. So let's take a few breaths here and visualize these channels at the Svadhisthana chakra gently opening and expanding through your conscious mind effort. Mentally allow the awareness of this energy radiating 3 to 6 feet all around you. Bring your awareness a little higher to the Manipura chakra, above the navel, below the chest. And again, inhale, exhale, and visualize this expansion through your consciousness. Consciously identify this energy, direct the energy in all directions. Come up to your heart. Begin the breathing process allowing a gentle expansion of the energy through your chest, shoulders, arms, and out in all directions, forward, backwards, side to side, 3 to 6 feet. Allow a softening, a gentle radiation of your conscious thought and your subtle body energy. And shift your awareness, your consciousness to your throat. Each inhale and each exhale, visualize that energy following your consciousness, expanding in all directions, freeing it, softening the energy, releasing any constrictions, mentally directing your energy. Allowing higher levels of prana to flow to and through you. And come to your third eye. Visualize beautiful radiant energy moving through the third eye, forward, backwards, and in all directions. Expanding your awareness of this subtle energy. Your subtle energy fields in your chakra. Breathe. Relax. And radiate. In the absence of constriction. And come up to the crown of your head, the top of your head. Again, through your breath, visualize this energy expanding effortlessly. With conscious intention, allow the energy to flow across your forehead, out in all directions, side to side, front to back, and all the way up above you, 3 to 6 feet. Now bring your thought process back to the Sushumna channel, the Ida and the Pingala, the crisscrossing of energy across this main channel. And visualize all of the chakras radiating together as one large unit in all directions, around you, above you, below you. Let the energies mingle and cross, melding without separate envelopes of energy. Now visualize this energy becoming so free and so vibrant. Visualize it as your entire aura. What vibrations are you sending out in your aura? For tonight's meditation, consciously intend that the vibration of your entire aura will increase in relaxation, cohesiveness, coordination of the energy systems. And as you breathe, allow that to expand farther, creating strength in your auric field. Now bring your hands back to heart center, fingertips touching, thumbs to your sternum. When we bring the hands together, We join the 5 elements from the right to the left at the heart center, where the energies merge from top to bottom. I'd like you to remember what your intention was for this meditation. Bring that closer to your heart. And I want you to keep this intention with you through all of these series. Your intention may change and shift slightly, and that's all right. So please repeat after me silently or out loud. Peace for my body. Peace for my mind. And peace always surrounding my soul. Rub your hands together. Gently place them over your eyes. Slowly begin to open your eyes, focusing on your palms and moving your palms away from your eyes. And welcome back. So, I really look forward to these 8 weeks together and our practice of learning how to understand our biochemical as well as subtle bodies, how to consciously affect them, change them, and cultivate them so that we can have multidimensional changes on a permanent level that suit your intention and your life, your personal life, your professional life, and your spiritual development. Because if we want to change, if we want to grow, if we want to improve, we put the work in. So I really look forward to working with all of you through this series. Now remember, after this class is finished, within a day or so, it's going to be placed onto the website, healthiervibrations.com. You can access it through the student portal. But if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to reach out, ask me. Put them in the comment section, or if it's personal, send a personal message as well. So until we meet again next week, namaste.